Welcome back to the shop. Today we're at the new rental house. We're gonna test the garage door and then we're gonna go over some repairs and get it working good. Let's test it first. You hear a lot of unusual noises. Okay, it went down okay. Let's see how it goes up. All right, it's very noisy. Let's see if we can find the cause of that. If we look at some of these rollers, like this one here, see it looks rather loose. If we take this roller and we look at it, look at this. There's nothing left of it. I mean, balls are gone. It's really, oop, it just fell off the tip there and a ball fell out. Let's take a look at the rest of it. That one looks, now these rollers are all gonna be the same age, so if one has gone completely wonky, your best bet is to replace all of them. And it's like that on the other side too. Let's take a look. Look at this one, it's turned in the track. These rollers are just worn out. Next thing we can see here is that the track has got dents and stuff in it. Like right here, that's bowed in this way. If we look down here, we can see some more extreme examples. This one's bowed out. And down there, you can see a real sharp kink. And the rollers have to deal with those bumps and stuff. And the motor, the garage door opener unloads and loads with that. So that's no good. The other thing we need to look at is these sensors. Are they clean? So we need to check these. They have little lenses on them right here. We need to make sure that's clean. And it's got an opposing one right here. We've got to make sure that's clean. So we'll clean those up too. The other thing we have to look at is this track. Now yours might be chain driven. Mine has got a screw drive on it, right there, that drives that little carriage back and forth, and that's what actually opens the garage door. So we have to lube that up with some grease. All right, let's talk about some of the supplies you're gonna need to get your garage door working right. First thing you're gonna need is the rollers. We saw that ours are bad, and if you're gonna have to replace one of them, they're all the same age, so go ahead and replace them all at the same time. This is a 2-pack for $5 at Home Depot. I needed 5 packs, so $25 plus tax. A rag to keep yourself clean. You're gonna need some Tri-Flow to lubricate the rollers and the hinges. A marker to mark where everything was. Some grease for your screw drive, or you can use your Tri-Flow for your chain drive. Some vice grips, a couple of different sizes of croissant wrenches. Over here we've got a SAE toolkit and a drill to speed things up. All right, I'm gonna start on the rollers since that's the most critical. We're gonna start by closing the door. Okay, remember how rough that is. See if it's smoother at the end. We're gonna wanna disconnect the garage door from the motor so it doesn't open while we've got our hands in the track. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna pull down on this cord. Now the garage door is disconnected. I'm gonna go one step further by locking the garage door. We can see that the garage door doesn't actually lock, so that's misadjusted. So I'm gonna leave that open so it doesn't jam up later. Okay, since our latch didn't work, I'm going to jam up the door with a pair of vice grips. And all we're gonna do is slide our vice grips down here on the track. And we don't want to bend our lip here. So we're gonna do some lining up the vice grip so it doesn't bend it. I'm gonna tighten that up a little bit more. And all we're trying to do is stop the garage door from going up under the pressure of the spring and crushing our hands while we're working. Let's figure out what size socket these bolts are. Looks like they're 7/16. I'm gonna take my short extension, open my drill all the way up and just chuck it right up in the drill. Then I'm gonna take my longer extension, add that, add my 7/16 socket, and remove my hinge. Now I've got our hinge assembly out of there. We can pull our old, look how bad this roller was. It fell right off of the thing. The little balls are gone and everything. Oop, one just fell out. Okay, don't lose your orientation of your hinge so you don't forget. We're just gonna pull out the old roller shaft and we're just gonna pop the new one in just like that. So we're just gonna take that assembly just like this. And you're gonna have to slide it in sideways and then line it back up the way it was. And start our screws. Now I'm gonna set my clutch. Let's go ahead and set it at 5 to get all our screws started. And the reason why we're gonna set our clutch is so we don't go stripping out the threads in the door. They're just in the sheet metal. And you may have to move the door around, like push in on it and stuff to get the holes lined up, but we're getting them lined up. Okay, so 5 isn't tight enough, we're gonna go to 10. And let's just pull our extension off our drill and we'll check it with our ratchet. I'm choked up on the ratchet and they could be just a little bit tighter, so we might use 12 from now on. That feels pretty good. Okay, so our first roller's changed. Next thing we're gonna do is we're gonna move our vice grips to block this roller down so we can work on our second one. Now let's take a look at our second roller. Okay, on this hinge, we have some adjustability here. You see that we have adjustable slots. So what I'm going to do to make my life easy is I know the garage door worked pretty good. So I'm just gonna trace that little loop there on the top and on the bottom so we can line it back up. Then our procedure is gonna be largely the same. Let's dial this up to 13. Yeah, that's not working. Go to 20. Okay, so we know these are about 20 clicks tight. And to take them out, we just rotate them out like that. See how the wheel hooks in on the one side? Just gonna use this little edge to hold the screws temporarily. Don't forget them in there. It'd be hard to forget them if you put everything back. Okay, without flipping this around or losing orientation, all I'm gonna do is I'm gonna pull the old one out and put the new one in immediately. Old one out, new one in immediately, so I don't lose focus as to where the roller was in this hole, or what was going on. Alternatively, you can take pictures of everything before you take it apart. That's always a good idea. And when you tighten these screws, you want them to just find their old grooves. You don't want to be cutting new grooves every time or you'll strip out your hole. Let's set our clutch for, call it 15. Now, if you have a different brand drill, you might want to set it differently. Just don't over tighten them. Now I'm going to check those with a ratchet just this one time, make sure they're not too tight or too loose. I'm going to go ahead and settle on 18. I'm going to leave it there. Okay, so our second roller is done. Let's do our third one. This one, they've got the roller tucked in underneath it. Looks like they stripped out the original hole. I have to look at the other side because I dropped the hinge. Okay, I matched it up to the other side and it was like this. Do our fourth one on this side. I've already marked my top and bottom. Okay, and the bottom roller may have to do with the garage door open. So let's go over and do the other side first. On this side, I'm just gonna go through and mark all the brackets first. And I'm gonna put a T on the top of the brackets so I don't duplicate what I did last time, where I dropped it and I couldn't remember where it went. When you take these off, you take off one hinge at a time, change your roller, and completely retighten your hinge so that you're not having to re-rig your whole garage door, or your garage door doesn't fall on you or anything like that. This one's got a little extra tweaking on it, so let's see if we can fix that. Look how the metal has gotten disfigured here. Let's see if we can straighten that out a bit. It doesn't have to be perfect, but what it is doing is it's canting our wheel like that a little bit. So the upright, it's canting it. You can see the cant here. So let's see if we can fix that. I'm gonna take a couple of croissant wrenches, tighten them down on there. Just try to bend them back the way you think they ought to go. Now don't try to go back and forth or you'll weaken the metal. What we're gonna do is we're gonna leave it just like that. Let's do our third one down. That's 8 of the rollers. Now let's open up the garage door and see if we can get the bottom ones done. Check all our grooves, make sure we didn't leave anything in there. Let's remember to remove our vice grips. Unlock your door if you locked it. Mine's unlocked. Let's re-engage our drive here. And let's hit our button. Well, I can already notice a huge improvement. All right, on our bottom plates here, they're completely different. It looks like they slide together with these 2 bottom nuts holding them together. Let's see if we can loosen those. They're the same size, 7/16. There we go. Cool. Something's spinning in here. I don't know if it's a stud, I don't feel anything. We had better luck on this side. So that side came right apart. This other side jams up partway down. Well, that sucks. The bolt is spinning around in there. So this end of the garage door will be supported by the cable, help you hold it up, no big deal. What's happening is there's a burr at the end of this bolt, stopping it from coming apart. I don't feel a head to the bolt or anything on the other side here, so I'm not sure what's spinning. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna jam the screwdriver in the plate and put some pressure on the nut. Put some pressure on the bolt. Hopefully the head will grab, whatever's in there will grab and help me spin this nut off of here. There she goes. So this is supposed to be a captured bolt and not spin around. It's captured right here, but it does spin around. So that's gonna be interesting trying to retighten that. Okay, we got our new rollers like this. Let's see if we can't get this thing to come back together. That one's okay. Threads are slightly goobered. So what we're gonna do is to stop the bolt from spinning, we're gonna wedge a screwdriver under there, put pressure on the bolt head. And we're gonna pull away from it. What we're hoping to do here is get the, trying to do is get the screw to bite a little bit. This other side's gonna be fine. Threw on some shades. To get my eye. Wear safety glasses. Damn. Okay, finally got a bite. I'm gonna pull my screwdriver out without loosening it. I was able to get this last one tightened by prying. I loosened up this one here and I pried against the head of the bolt to put tension on it. And I was able to tighten it up and then pulling the screwdriver out and prying again, pulling it out some more, prying again, till finally it's in there. Both tightened to 18, so that's all fixed. Let's try it on this one. See if we have better luck. Okay, we're on reverse. That's how that other one was supposed to go, was like that. Okay, let's straighten out those bits in the track we found earlier. What we're gonna focus on is this bent piece of track. What we're gonna do here is we're gonna hold the straight part steady, the croissant wrench, and then take another one, tighten it on our crooked part, and then what we're gonna do is just work our crooked part straighter. Don't overshoot it. And we're going to slide up and down here, just making small tweaks until it looks pretty straight. And that looks pretty straight. Now let's do this lower one right here. Sometimes when you got a bulge like this in the middle, it's just going to work back and forth. So what we're going to do here is take our big wrench, slide it down here, put our medium wrench on the other side. And what we're going to do is hold those steady while we put our third croissant wrench in the middle and pull our bulge in. That's pretty straight. Straight as we're gonna get it very easily. It's not have to be perfect. Now we got this kink at the very bottom here. I'm gonna put this right next to this. This is more of a shear. I'm gonna put one right next to it, the other one next to it, and we're gonna try to pull that out. Okay, that's as good as that's gonna get. Let's go to the other side. The other side is pretty straight all the way through. So don't have to worry about it. Now that we got our tracks all straightened up and our rollers changed, let's lubricate this gear up here. Well, on mine it's a screwdriver. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna smear a bead of grease along it. And if you have a chain drive, you're gonna spray your chain with Tri-Flow. All you're gonna do is take some general purpose white lithium grease. I kneaded the tube a little bit to mix it up with the lid on. Now I'm just gonna take a bead and put it on my track here. Okay, let's get some grease on there. Let's put a little bit on the track here. Don't go too crazy. And like I said, your carriage will help you spread that around. Now we can just run the garage door and it'll spread that grease around. God, I think that thing ran 1,000,000 times faster. Okay, so what we're gonna do now is let's let it back down. She's running a lot smoother than she was. Okay, we can see it put the grease where it needed it. Our last step is to lubricate everything that moves with oil. Now these rollers look like they came with a nice little bit of grease in there. So I'm not gonna add any grease to the rollers, but if your rollers are dry, you need to spray some Tri-Flow in there. Okay, when we lubricate, we don't wanna lubricate this shaft or anything like that because there's ball bearings in the wheel and the wheel is supposed to rotate around the shaft, not the shaft in here. So we're gonna start on our first hinge, which is down here, and our moving parts are right here. You can usually tell because there'll be some black where the metal's been wearing. And I'm just gonna use some Tri-Flow. I like it a lot. And we're just gonna put a rag under it and just hit it. You don't have to go crazy, that's it. Go to the next one. So we'll do one more. And that's it. Wipe off a little bit of the excess, go to the next one. Now that bottom one doesn't have any moving parts, just the roller, so we're not gonna do anything with that. We're just gonna hit where it pivots right there. If you were to do this once a year, your garage door will last forever, compared with waiting until it's damaged like this one was. There's two more pivots here. There's one there, but it's in plastic, so we're not gonna spray anything on that could deteriorate the plastic. And the other pivot's right here. And we can see it's been making black stuff. So let's go ahead and just give it a spritz. Okay, now let's listen to the garage door. Behold the beauty of this thing. Oh my goodness. So nice. It's smooth and it's quiet. So much more quiet. It was screeching and everything else before. Let's go ahead and shutter it again. Wow. Last thing we want to do is take a look at these garage door sensors. See, this one's got a little lens, and this side has a hole. There's not much you can do with it. You can take some canned air and blow it in there. But on the lens here, we're going to take a clean rag with no solvent on it, no tri-flow, no oil, and we're just going to wipe off our little lens here. Make sure our lens is clean. And that's it. So what happens is a beam emits from there and gets received from there, that sensor. So let's see if that works. What should happen is when I trip it, the garage door should start going up on its own. Let me hit the button. Okay, so the sensors are working. Garage door's working great. Subscribe. I'll catch you guys next time. Look at some of these rollers. And it was worn flat. It's supposed to be round on the edge here. Like that. Worn flat like that, the one on the left. Look at the wobble. That one's a lot better. Look at this one, Jesus. And this one's the worst one. That's where the ball's riding that track right there. Completely gone. Here's the roller. The balls have all fallen out of it. Big thumb. Subscribe, like, all that stuff. I'll catch you guys on the next one. You like Craftsman? You like old Craftsman that are actually made in the United States? You like that? I'm gonna turn around this way.